underutilized. Huanfeng is 2-0 on that champion right now, and I'd love to see one of these teams pick it up.
Well, let's see, because we're going to pick ban. It's still left unavailable, but you do see Jackie loves Tristana that you were talking about as the first ban away from Suning. Gragas also follows suit, so Lyric feels like they've done their research looking across the board.
I mean, Karsa is still spamming that champion in solo queue. Top Esports are undefeated on it within 4 rolls. The two things I'm keeping my eye on right now is the Hecarim and the Kai'Sa. I feel like with the fact there are so many prio AD carries left open, just taking away the Hecarim would be a good start for TS. But actually, the Thresh left open has been one of Draw's best picks. It does shut down the Rel, does very well against the Alistar as well. Top Esports are going to take it away.
Isn't it funny though? Karsa has realistically always been like a Hecarim kind of player. So the fact that he backs away after losing the Gragas, the Udi, they say, all right, let's give Draw that support. Response now for Suning. 80 carry you were talking about. Let's see if they optimize to give Huanfeng something like the Jinx that you and I were mentioning before, apart from this jungle.
I feel like when you take the Hecarim, the Kai'Sa is just such a good like tag along with it as well. Hecarim goes in with his ultimate, able to apply the stacks for Kai'Sa to follow up. Huanfeng's had an amazing performance on it, the split, 93% win rate, 14 games, but they want to stick to comfort. They want to keep going back to this ultra late game hyper carry in the Jinx. Now for TS, I'm just going to keep highlighting it, but they're going to lock in the Aphelios. They're going to go late game with late game.
True.
And now eyes are on the top side.
Builds up the laning phase though, Lyric. This is what we talked about. Aphelios, Thresh, we know they're decent laners, right? So you put yourself in a comfortable position in the 2v2 to start off, and this has been seeing a lot of players. We've seen the Stormbringer buffs, the healing buffs on minions go back to normal. Karsa's going to show us the Volibear in jungle for game 1.
And we need to remember that when Volibear's set was seen almost every game last year, that was the meta Karsa thrived in the most, in my opinion. You're not as fast in clear speed in terms of like matching Hecarim or Udyr, but I think you're a lot more potent in early game skirmishes and the gank potential that you provide. So fitting with this style perfectly of enabling the laners of TS.
And we're getting a bit of an animal kingdom, aren't we? You know, we've got a bear, we've got a horse, and now we have Tung Kench in the bottom lane to support Huanfeng. So bit of safety there, Lyric, and it feels like Suning now putting their eggs in the Huanfeng basket again.
And I would expect Suning to look for a blind pick on mid. The fact that they're actually banning out some top laners might mean that they are just going to pick something straight away for Bin. Gnar has been our go-to blind pick. We have also seen Renekton quite a bit in LPL playoffs, but I'm not too big of a fan of it. It feels like it's too easy to outrange. Picking Renekton into Aphelios Thresh would be very tough. And there honestly aren't too many like other options on the table. You could go with something like the Jace and just accept, hey, I'm going to try to go for this strong laning phase, but then you're opening up something like the Malphite for 369 on the other side.
You see some solo lane bans in the other direction though. Silas, Sion, things that we've also talked about. You were mentioning before, LPL hasn't really indexed into the Sion in our playoffs, much like regions like the LEC, so we've gone a different direction. Top Esports though, already banned one mid laner away. Let's see if they target Angel again. Something to speed it up. Remember, Lyric, you know, things like the Zillion, he's picked up a couple of times to buff this Jinx.
Another thing to keep our eye on is with these two champions banned, I think Azir rises in priority a little bit. You still have both Azir and Victor, and it's a little bit of a trade, but I definitely would prefer the Victor in that side. Suning are just going to go back towards that Renekton. We've been seeing it a ton throughout LPL playoffs. The Gnar is banned. You've also taken away a tank like the Sion, but something like the GP is always available for Top Esports. Does fine in the laning phase. I really like it up against immobile AD carries like the Jinx, and then he could even go towards something more aggressive like the Jace, but I would definitely love to see the gangplank come out from 369.
Really good point as Warhorse points to Jackie Love, says there's Zoe, and gets locked in for Knight. Anyone who is a global fan of Knight knows that Zoe is one of his best champions in his career.
He just is exceptional on this champ. Top Esports very heavily indexing into a lot of pick tools so far. The good thing for Suning is they have Tahm Kench on the opposite side, so he will shut down those very sneaky sleepy trouble bubbles or death sentences coming out. And when we set up, hey, you know, Top Esports are counter pick central, I think 369 is going to feel very comfortable locking this one in, and he does it.
You know, I was upset when IG got knocked out, Lyric, but now I have a Quinn versus Renekton matchup, and 369 going to play that solo lane game and see if Bin can survive. This feels like it's going to be, again, you said it, lane-centric as we expect for Top Esports. Other side, though, let's round out Suning's draft, because they have some engage potential, but now looking at things like the Galio, what direction is it?
I think I really would have liked the Galio quite a bit, but Angel's going to go back towards comfort. Having something with the global that could have put a lot of pressure on 369 to not just outright get the isolated lane versus Bin would have been good, but they're going to go back to this more one-threat style composition with the Jinx. He provides some peel, has the double bomb, also Ben has the ultimate. You're going to have a bunch of meat shields right in front of her. For TS, you already highlighted it. We need to see them getting ahead in the early game. They're going to have 3 pushing matchups. It's going to give Karsa a lot of options and avenue to play around. I think 369 is fine playing alone on that top side. Just give him some vision and look to play with your mid-jungle duo, roaming Karsa and Knight to the sides of the map.
This is why I brought up before, 11.6, we're opening things up a little bit again. The floodgates here for pick and ban. It changes, and for game number 1, we already get the Quinn versus Renekton, a bold matchup that not many top laners in the LPL are willing to go for. And it really opens things to be discussed further, Lyric. This early game versus if SUNING can hold out and get this Jinx to a comfortable point with a Zilean, Tahm Kench, and a front line right in front.
And that's the thing, right? They are all inning on Huanfeng, something they've been very comfortable to do this split. I love that they pick up the Tahm Kench when we highlighted, hey, back in 2020 summer split, honestly, the SUNING bot lane just ended up getting smashed by top esports bot lane. We said top esports have improved their 2v2 prowess. Just trying to neutralize that lane is a good plan up against TS.
We'll see if it works out, ladies and gentlemen. SUNING top esports, 1 round away from locking in the top 4. That gives you a lifeline. That joins you up against EDG. It's SUNING and top esports, do or die, with the final matchup here tonight. Lyric, I baited our audience a little bit. I said the final matchup here tonight, as we're looking at the crowd across the arena. It is the only matchup here tonight, but it is the final matchup. Before we get into our double elimination bracket was my meaning there. So we're, pretty close to getting our top 4 teams of the LPL. It's either top esports or SUNING, rather, to join them in the act. And for game 1, we have Juicy Drafts as right into the brush. 369 walking to the wrong side. Now going to have to kite his way out. Potions popped already, and Bin's actually chasing this one. Waiting for the vault to come up once again. And there's the passive to come through. Another shot to do it. And Bin already, this is how the lane's going to go with PTA in hand.
And that's the thing, right, is, as Renekton against ranged top laners, you can try and make the matchup volatile and call for jungle help because you do provide a lot more to a 2v2 than something along the lines of a Quinn. But 369 can get a lot of return damage up there. We also look at all the vision that top esports already have on the top side of the map. And 369 even doubling down just by bringing the cleanse, which is what you should do in this matchup. And Bin really doesn't have many avenues in being able to play out this laning phase.
Shows you the level of comfort, right? Cull is the first item here just to farm up and already knowing you're going to have the advantage. On the other side, let's pay attention. You mentioned the vision, so it's going to be important to track SOFM. He's on towards his blue side for now, moving up towards the top. But TES have actually spotted out a red side ward there defensively used as pings went down themselves. And you can see on the other side, Karsa at his blue side for now, working his way up.
And that's the thing about these jungle clears is SOFM doesn't have a really, he doesn't have a guaranteed scuttle crab on either side, right? His bot lane is going to get pushed in. They don't really bring a lot of early skirmishing power to look for if they wanted to fight in River. And for Karsa, he could path bot and look to just play around that prio, but he knows that SOFM should be looking to go top because that is the lane where we said, hey, potentially you could try to make it volatile. He's going to shut that down. He's going to make sure he should be able to double scuttle. And TS are just going to look to punish this massive wave that 369 is stacked.
A lot of burst damage here with the Sky Splitter from Karsa. He's pushing SOFM away from the Krugs nice and early. 369 has already forced Bin to back, who's going to TP in. And now it's just the challenge over the smaller Krugs, which Karsa will secure with a passive help destroy the smallest ones worth 12 gold apiece. Bin comes into a pretty hefty wave, and Lyric, he's already at 4 CS, man. Now 6, as 369 is going to move to 20.
He's going to pick some up. I expected to see SOFM just try to move towards that bottom side and get that crab, but I like what Karsa's doing. He's just playing reactively. He knows he has pressure everywhere. He doesn't need to take top scuttle where he already was and give that bottom side one down to SOFM. So he is just reacting to wherever SOFM is going.
Because it feels like, Karsa's going to keep putting out fires and SOFM's going to try and create them for top esports, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that he's necessarily putting out any fires yet. Again, you have 3 winning matchups, so there's a bit of like a small flame there already, and Karsa's just trying to push that to overdrive and really make SUNING and SOFM specifically feel the pain.
You telling me Karsa's going to create a fire as SOFM has just walked into it, but he's not a firefighter. The horse runs away, and Karsa immediately has a flash in the back of the hand. Teemo puts his thumbs in the air as Knight's on the chase. There's a flash there, but SOFM has to burn his ghost to get out alive.
Yeah, so cheeky play coming out from Karsa. He's going to be able to pick this one up. SOFM still not going to go back. He's like, okay, Karsa is there. He is pathing towards that now. I love this game of chicken that we've just seen over the past like 2 minutes where Karsa again is like being the bouncer saying, hey, you will not pass. I will be anywhere you go. But now, you know, he couldn't just keep wasting time. Finally actually had to take that scuttle, has to start looking for farm. Hovers up towards 369 lane, who once again is stacking a massive wave, wants to deny bin. And it looks like top Esports are just going to try and set up a dive.
They're doubling down. Look at this. Karsa waiting behind with Krug spawning. SOFM knows this after picking up Scuttle. Just seems like he's going to be trading sides of the map for now as Bin is completely zoned off the wave. Look at the minion wave and EXP getting denied.
Yeah, and I even liked what Knight did, how he walked up to the brush behind red to recall, right? He's hiding in Fog of War. Of course, SUNING have word, so they know he's up there, but still, Bin doesn't know, hey, is Knight pathing up or is he going back? Had to pay a bit of respect there, had to drop his control ward. And for the side of SUNING, because we haven't talked about them too much, it's just because their job is to weather the storm, right? You have a comp that is completely around Jinx. You have Zillion, Tom Kench, Jinx comp with 2 frontliners in there as well. Your only early game potential champion would have been Renekton, but really almost impossible in this matchup. So it's about, hey, keep trying to have SOFM farm up, get some defensive wards inside your own jungle and across river, and just try to wait out the storm, try to counteract whatever moves Karsa goes for. Keep preventing that dive that TS have numerous times kind of hinted at towards top side.
That's why I kind of like when SOFM has just put a control ward down on the bottom side, make sure, all right, if Karsa's not there, he's not passing through there, then most likely he's back towards the top side or at least making his way there. A vision you talked about, there is hardly any for SUNING in the time being, only towards that bottom river where I believe On put that down there before backing and getting a lens himself. So everything else stable for now as finally Bin's actually able to get the push out here in this wave.
Yeah, of course, you know, 369 pushed his wave in and went back, so Bin able to utilize the bounce back. Right now, 369 sitting on that Noon Quiver is going to cancel the back, so really nice by him. We expect him to go towards the Gale Force. That is primarily what we see built from Twins in pro play into this matchup.
That sentence lands, so here comes the Sky Splitter. The flash immediately burnt, but there's a lot of damage here. Gravitum in hand as well. On with the shield, the exhaust out. JackeyLove walks up. Karsa, though, slaps him with a bit of Storm for first blood.
Really nice coming out from TS. It almost looked like On would be able to get away once again, and that would be that counteraction from SUNING that we're talking about, like weathering the storm. But nice from Karsa, they guarantee it. They do use 3 summoners in the trade. Karsa blowing his flash, and then Exhaust and Heal coming out from JackeyLove and
Pony. Yeah, Pony's back. He's going to try and disengage this, but Ghost's already been used. Rather, the movement speed coming through. JackeyLove low flashes away, but it's only to his death as Fong will get the assist. Now wants a real kill. SOFM takes it anyway, and Karsa can't get there in time with Knight in par.
Yeah, good read by SOFM, just kind of hovering in the wings. I think he was clearing his Gromp. The play ends, Karsa moves out from river. You see JackeyLove and Draw still trying to force that wave in, and it just leaves a very easy opportunity for SOFM to find the gank. And again, to where when Karsa's been spending so much time trying to deny SOFM and hover around lanes, not really farming, it's also allowed SOFM to just catch back up, hit level 6 first, and find that gank.
And remember, Ghost lower cooldown here is they're already in bad doo-doo.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing they can do at this point, right? The Ghost already came out. He had the ultimate available. Fong able to benefit off this as well, get some kills, get some assists, and, you know, even going to be able to pick up the rest of that wave. So right now, sitting on the pickaxe, 2 longswords. I'd say the match so far is going pretty nice for the side of SUNING. They are definitely fine with the early game being at this tempo.
Let's use your keyword again, weathering the storm. Feels like with that bottom lane play, things slow down a little bit, right? SOFM picks up the 2 kills. Ionian Boots of Lucidity for the Hecarim feels really nice as the first item choice, and that earlier kill, that earlier kill rather from Karsa as he went down the bottom lane, doesn't mean too much here on the Volibear jungle. He's even behind 20 CS now, as he's just hit level 6 too.
And that's just expected from, I'd say, the way Karsa usually plays around the laners in TS. I think an interesting dynamic going forward is Swanfall.
Yeah, they didn't know he was in there, baiting it out. Jackie Love's level 6. He's right in there with the shurikens, with Severum as well. On takes a couple of hits, but Jackie Love used his flash in the previous trade. So On will scatter his way out while Top Esports try for a cheeky play.
Still now forcing On to go for the reset, but actually look at the minimap hysterics. SOFM is making his way down. His ultimate is back up again as well.
Something about a rhyme with a horse, of course. SOFM's Ghost not there, but you're right. The Onslaught of Shadows with the wave building up.
Yep, they are just going to back off and respect. It seems like SOFM just going to hover around, try to put some pressure on them. He can also take the Krugs.
Didn't know that happened.
Yeah, Top Esports respect.
And they'll push out the next wave coming through as well. Knight still mid, though, has the shove. We'll see if he moves Lyric, because he is 10 CS up and he's doing quite well. Knight deciding whether to position. Karsa picks up the Herald in the meantime. Top Esports still under fire.
I think another thing we need to keep our eye on as this game goes on is the fact that typically when you have these more one-threat compositions, the way that you counteract them is by picking champions that can come off flank angles, come on TPs, you know, like dash past and get straight to that threat. But TS don't really have that. They don't have a lot of hard CC coming out. Sure, 369 can find a flank, but you're a Quinn, you'll be running straight into a Jinx with a Tahm Kench next to her. Karsa can go in, but he will be all by himself. Thresh not really the kind of champion who's going to look for that engage and follow the death sentence in. So Suning will be sitting pretty, you know, like later on when this game goes. Top Esports don't have the kind of composition that really punishes what Suning brought to the table.
I like you nailing that down. You know, so Top Esports put themselves on a timer here. Gold still even, which means good for Suning in very simple terms. But for now, 369 continues to continue to push up as this cull was just complete with you seeing the 350 gold above his head. 30, or rather 20 CS up over Bin isn't as bad as how it started out. So Bin is surviving in this lane, and the 369, we'll see how better he can get now that he's picked up the Kraken Slayer within this lane.
Ooh, yeah, so just wanting to be able to burst the front line. I guess it makes sense with the kind of composition that Suning did pick up. No real reason to go with Gale Force when you're not really going to be able to get on the back line and assassinate Huanfeng. I expect TS to drop this Rift Herald top. We already see Karsa making his way. Looks like he wants to stop this back.
They're angry.
And if you can open up this lane... Ooh, Bin.
He doesn't have the damage, but he wants to keep Bin here. Karsa level 7 versus 9. You mentioned the Herald lyric, and is this where you want to see it? You think this is the play? You put it towards the Quinn lane, and you just really build up a long side lane.
That's the thing, too. It's not even necessarily about the long side lane itself, but then you open up Quinn to start roaming on the map. We know when she does turn into Valor, just so much mobility, can impact mid, can impact bot, can even very easily get to Dragon and look for a play like that, especially with this base denial coming out from Karsa. Again, it's Kraken Slayer up against Pickaxe and Plated Steel Caps. 369 is feeling wonderful.
And you're against a Hecarim and a Renekton, right? So both going to be quite beneficial, as Knight's here to benefit off the gold as well. Herald gets a charge down to 1 plate, and gold shared between the solo laners plus Karsa. So more gold here for the Quinn, while Angel comes up just in case it develops.
And now for TS, they can just have Karsa clear his camps towards bot side. Dragon is up, get some vision down in bottom side river, and to start looking to play for that objective. Again, once 369 can break down this top turret, which should be soon, right? He's going to be able to stay in lane right now to where Bin still needed to back. That's when we're going to start seeing 369 make these proactive map plays, and it doesn't matter that he doesn't have a teleport because he is just that mobile.
It's great. You know, Quinn, you can take Ignite, you can take Cleanse like he's done here. You're so fast. I think level 1 Quinn, with even just normal boots, you'll be at like 420, 430 movement speeds. So as soon as he gets those tier 2s as well, add an extra 10, 15 on top of that. As he pushes in the turret, almost taking it down. And that'll lead to about a 2k gold lead here. Already 1,000 for Top Esports. As Lyric was talking a little bit about the Dragon before, I guess I should quiz you about that as well, sir, because it does feel like Top Esports with this early game, with how the lanes have been going out, this should be a no-question advantage for them.
Definitely should. We've seen they've had 3 pushing lanes the whole time. They could really turn to that whenever they need. It seems like they've prioritized, again, getting 369 ahead, trying to break down that first turret and just funneling gold onto him. But Top Esports as a team are pretty interesting because when we highlight the fact that they're on average up 2.5k gold at 15 minutes, for being a top team, their Dragon Control specifically actually is quite low. Their Herald percentage is very high, but they don't typically play too much around the bottom side of the map as a whole, or even the Dragon as an objective.
Doesn't it tell you something though, right? It's like they don't get their leads through objective plays. They get their leads through lane dominance. It kind of tells the narrative a little bit more, if I'm not wrong saying.
Yeah, and they're a team who I think, you know, are totally fine going into long extended laning phases to just keep bullying down the enemy laner. We've seen many times where Knight is consistently pushing, hovering towards topside, giving 369 this freedom. TS have really kept up with the game plan that we said of like, hey, it's really just about getting all those wards down around topside. Karsa has showed numerous times trying to deny Bin more minions. But the problem is, Hysterics, the state of the game hasn't progressed past this.
It hasn't. 369 will get the turret. Maybe something changes, right? Now that the Quinn can move. First turret gold is 450. But SUNING are on the Dragon, and top esports are like, we don't care.
Well, I also like this as well, because what SUNING did was they had a ward behind the enemy blue buff of TS. Actually, Knight's walking over right now. So they wait for the blue hand up, so they're on the opposite side of the map, when they know they can safely look for that Dragon play.
So one goes over to SUNING. Remember, Dragons to delay the game. That's exceptional. That's fantastic. Plus, we're getting towards either a mountain or an ocean soul, right? So both, or rather just SUNING, I should say, are going to feel pretty happy picking that one up as their soul if the game goes long enough.
And the thing is, right, we already have Mythics coming out on both sides. The Chemtank coming out for SOFM, the Kraken Slayer on Huanfeng. Sure, you're missing them on your soul laners who are a bit behind, but especially for Angel, where he's really just providing utility, it doesn't feel like a massive deal. And for Bin, it is expected. He is trying to hold this wave here as long as possible and not let 369 keep forcing that advantage. As long as 369 doesn't find any openings on the map, like if SUNING don't give any potential like dive scenarios available, if SOFM keeps hovering as he's doing now with on in bot side river, then Bin will be able to find his way back into the game.
And the cool thing is as well, it's going to be harder for 369 when you have a Zillion in the game, right? Like those picks could encompass the Zillion ultimate or a bit of movement speed. As SOFM going to spot him out. This is going to be a sandwich maneuver against the wall. He flashes away. 369 knows he's in trouble. He's gone too deep. And SOFM controls the rift yet again here in game one.
Really nice setup coming out from SUNING. Again, it all started with that freeze coming out from Bin. Really left 369 with no good options on what he could do. Nothing to impact on the bottom side of the map. They tried to hover potential threat in mid lane. Has to go back top. SOFM was there the whole step of the way, and they just punished the rotation.
And now Riptail looks a little bit hard. Cast 2 levels down of the Hecarim, who's been farming up. There's a 40 CS advantage for SOFM, and Knight, even with the Randuin's Omen and the Everfrost, is going to get TP'd on. So SUNING feel like they've got this one in the bag. The second objective of their game that they're going to take handedly.
And we didn't even highlight the fact that they got bot turret around all the time that TS was spending just kind of sitting top lane. So
oh, but Carson's
totally
actually
even
just
in
flashed
gold.
in, Lyric. There's the Stormbringer down. But Herald, it was picked up by SOFM. He's like, get me out of here. On puts him in his mouth, and Animal on Animal, I don't know if that's sensual or not, as 369's coming in and gets tongue lashed away. But top esports can't do a thing.
I know with interactions like that, Munchables is just somewhere mauling about Tom Kench being a champion. But you know what? We accept it. He's in the game, is able to just get SOFM out of there. They pick up the next objective. They're even in gold. And for TS, when we think about what potential avenues they have, it's like, hey, have Quinn push out once again, send your mid jungle, your support jungle mid, go into that top side enemy jungle, get some vision down, and try to find some picks. But SUNING have played very respectfully. Yep. And especially when you always have on Angel SOFM kind of hovering in the wings, you're not going to be under any threat until that wave topside pushes back out towards TS's turret, and maybe someone has to go answer that.
Oh, he just came into the brush, because remember, 369 scouted that out, but SOFM with great timing to get him back.
Yeah, he just, again, stayed right outside of his vision, like one whole step of the way, was in the enemy jungle when he initially started moving down, went between his inner and outer turrets, walked back in when he saw 369 pathing back towards topside. So just very intelligent tracking coming out from SOFM.
Something we've talked about quite a lot, if anyone hasn't been watching SUNING or LPL playoffs in general, versus LNG versus WE, SOFM, as Lyric said in our opening segment, has been one of the best junglers, if not the best jungler handedly, right? Like, again, having another great game to start off yet another series.
and they're just going to push their advantage even further. Walk mid, drop down the Herald. Now they're getting vision down in the enemy jungle, but SOFM is actually going to go on 369.
Yeah, he's caught him out yet again, and look who's on the way. It's a Clock Wizard. As 369 wants the 1v1, but SOFM takes it. Bit of help from Angel in the end with the ult just in case.
And for the side of TS, there's no response play available. They're going to push out top wave. They're going to path through mid and start getting that vision down in SUNING's red side jungle. But once again, there's no way to turn that into any sort of tangible advantage.
Lyric, I gotta ask you, top esports in bad doo-doo, right? It's 19 minutes into the game, and the advantage is over to SUNING. They can keep playing this game out how they've been going. Even with the Dragon going over early, it means the game is going to go longer, so top esports, this is dire straits, right?
And yeah, it definitely is for them. And SUNING are even the team who have control of bot side river right now. They're going to be able to push out this wave, get more vision down. You already look in TS's red quadrant of their jungle. SUNING have it completely lit up with wards. So this should just be another objective for SUNING.
Started off, Angel going to help out as well. Look at where top esports are, not even going to contest. That's 2 dragons now picked up. The first Herald as well. The second one will be spawning, or rather, excuse me, the second one was taken. It's Baron coming up next as well. And SUNING in a prime position here in this game 1. Lyric, they're building up their items on their core carry. It's 2 now for Huanfeng with the rapid fire cannon in hand.
And this is what's been standard in these compositions where you do see just building around one big hyper carry, right? It's going towards that rapid fire cannon rather than a Runons or Phantom Dancer. Just extending your range, making it even harder for the potential dive threats on the opposite side to come onto you. And that's already big when we talked about how top esports don't have that many dive threats. It's pretty much just Karsa.
And even then, like, it's a shorter range than you expect, especially when you're comparing against a Hecarim, right? So at this point, bit of trouble as Jaw almost himself trying to clear a ward on the backside. Caster has to retreat as well. And top esports, they're losing their whole vision line. You can see at the moment, SUNING towards his top side around Baron are choking out any vision that top esports have left.
And that's all they need to do. They don't need to push in, look for any camps, look to take away of any top esports defensive wards. Just get your own vision line down, control that, keep farming up, wait for the next dragon to come up because they're already on 2. They can very easily stack up that soul, and wait for TS to over-aggress or for 369 to overextend in the side lane like he's been doing time and time again, because with the Ghost, with his E, with Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage, there's so many potential ways to pick off 369 in a side lane.
He's got the Storm Razors. He's 0 and 2 to start the game off after what was a pretty successful laning phase. And right now, a bit of a lull, ladies and gentlemen. You love to see it. You love to talk about it. 21 minutes in and 3 minutes till the next dragon, right? And at this point, with SUNING, are you still confident about how you fight? Because look at Huanfeng with the Zillion and the 2 items. He's doing a lot of damage already.
And right, when you think about Aphelios, he's the type of champion who really loves when the enemies are coming into him. And it's like, sure, there is Renekton and Hecarim on the opposite side, but they can just keep doing what they've been doing. Control mid-wave, get on objective first, force TS to come into you. If a Death Sentence or Sleepy Trouble will land, we highlighted the Devours there for the Tahm Kench. You have the ultimate coming out from Zillion. SOFM or Bin can even just body block one of those abilities. You have so many tools.
JackieLove almost caught out. SOFM waiting on the wing. Good ward here from top esports defensively. Remember, 2-level lead for SOFM as he gets hit with the Trouble Bubble. Knight wants to snipe him down. Still good damage here. Even with the Turbo Chem Tank, Knight has the Horizon focus, so he's been a quite achiever in this game, Lyric. He's actually 70 CS up. I haven't done math since last time I went over to America. It's actually 60, so a lot of burst damage for a Knight. He could be a saving grace if they find a pick.
That's what it's going to be all about, right? Is if he gets to a point where maybe just one combo from Fog of War can just take out Angel or take out Huanfeng outright from one of these team fights before On can react, before Angel can react with the ultimate, and then you'll have the numbers advantage, and maybe then you can convert that into some kind of lead.
Well, we've got a minute 55 till the Dragon spawns. JackieLove farming up here in the mid-wave. JackieLove also has the Lord Dominic's Regard picked up now, so 2 items for both these AD carries. But remember, Huanfeng is ahead. You mentioned the turret that was picked up in response for SUNING in the early game. He has a full Last Whisper over JackieLove, so feeling pretty good right now as 369, the bird that really wasn't the word this game, is still roaming around, still fast as ever, putting some deep vision, trying to spot out where SOFM is going to pick his angles.
Yeah, he's trying. He's still just farming up and trying to be as big as he can so he can continue to bully out Bin. If we look at the CS numbers, Bin is completely caught up. And SUNING have done a good job of just playing around 2 lanes. They're ignoring, top side right now because even TS don't have a comp that can punish from all 3 lanes, push them in, kind of pull them across the map, and take out this, protect the carry sort of composition. And they're just reading and reacting appropriately.
Setting up minute, ladies and gentlemen. It's been in like a slower mid-game moving into transition, but again, Lyric already set out the composition here, how SUNING want to play this game, and it's working at their tempo. Top Esports waiting to lure SUNING in, but Hwanfeng Angel, you already said, they've been pretty safe. They've been sitting around this mid lane. And SUNING now might have to make a decision around this next dragon. They've already got 2, but SOFM, he's already made it. Onto Jakilov, he's caught out.
Oh.
That horse was pretty damn fast, but Jakilov survived after taking the Super Mega Death Rocket. He'll heal up a little bit while 369 comes in from the wing. Knight is going to poke them down as well, but a bit of return damage. Knight there too. Onto Hwanfeng, the Everfrost. Almost took him out.
That's the thing, right? We lost some key ultimates for the side of SUNING, but Jakilov lost both of his summoners.
Yeah.
That will be massive. Dragon's up in about 10 seconds. Hwanfeng right now is trying to farm up. He looks like he's actually going to go and try and take the red. So I wonder if SUNING are actually just going to concede the dragon.
Won't be able to steal with the Super Mega Death Rocket. We saw that in the play before. Half of the cooldown left remaining as Knight sends out the bubble onto SOFM. Great Everfrost. Returns with a second one. I think he picked that one up as Top Esports get their objective in the dragon. A flash away from Angel. Knight bursts down on the later part. Hwanfeng now the next target. He's playing super aggressive with a zillion at his health.
And Knight just did so well in that fight, right? Throwing out the E, using the Everfrost as well, trying to keep SOFM at bay. He does that. TS are at least able to get an objective. Kind of walking back a little bit to start it all off. I can understand SOFM. He thought he saw the angle. He thought that they had the burst, but it definitely feels like, maybe in hindsight, respectfully, that they could have, played that more patiently. Just contest the mid-wave, try to walk into River as a group, and wait for TS to be that over-aggressor. Probably feeling a bit of pressure coming out from Fog of War with Night Zoe able to throw out the Paddle Stars and Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, though. And
true, we've seen the damage come through, right? Especially when you're a Hecarim who's, pretty fond of armor, as all Hecarims are, with the second item into the Dead Man's Plate, excuse me. Plus, you have the Bramble Vest already picked up, so Knight is doing quite a bit of damage here, as he's now picked up a needlessly large rod. Lyric, third item could be towards that Rabadons, of course, at 11.6, excuse me, bit of a rough start. We've got Rabadons at 3,600 gold, so it is a more affordable item, and it means we can now choose between Void Staff and the Hat.
I agree 100%. Even though, a 200 gold decrease might not feel like much, I definitely think that's massive once you are in game. Again, that could be, a wave and a half, where you don't have to wait around, where you can look for that back, get that massive item spike, and look to try to take out some of these squishier members from SUNING.
As we'll watch and see if Knight picks it up. Look at that trouble belt from downtown. Hits a crucial target, but no one near enough. That's onto Hwanfeng. As Feb charging in under the turret, though. They found Top Esports 80 carry, and Jakilov goes down to Hwanfeng. Immediately, it ends. And you know what? SUNING have a Baron to attend.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? Even a few minutes ago, trading ultimates for summoner spells will always be worth for the side of SUNING. They wait that one out. They find another opportunity where they can punish the flashless Jakilov. They get it. They are now on the Baron. They also have great turn potential if they need to get on top of Top Esports.
Remember, Top Esports down a member. 80 carry here, and Hwanfeng going to take it down quickly at 3k, going to 2. Knight goes in. It's stolen!
My God.
Oh, Caster jumps in. The bear has gotten away with the honey, while 369 is separated Bin. SUNING now lose a member, and now Knight and 369 want to get away into the bird form. The Trouble Bubble cleansed by Hwanfeng. On chases up, but his tongue doesn't go around corners as they've separated another. SUNING have been peeled off, and Top Esports get away with murder.
And that was a game that thus far has felt like SUNING have done a great job of controlling, but one misstep, one great play coming out from Karsa, finds his way into the pit, gets the smite down, secures the objective. Now we look at a massive gold lead for the side of TS, and they can start pressuring multiple lanes with this Quinn.
They really can. The game that felt like it was already done is on, narrowly missing a hook. Hwanfeng doing some damage. Super Mega Death Rocket almost finished the kill off as well, while Knight's hitting the side lane turret. Top Esports get away, and they've actually gotten away with a 6k gold lead in the blink of an eye.
And we're going to see how it happened. Actually, we're going to go back even further to where SOFM used as the bomb delivery system, charges in with the E and the ultimate. able to just send him into the rest of the team and pick him off. And then here we are. I think Bin goes over the wall. He went, actually just a mistime by Bin. I think he wanted to get over the wall, stun out Karsa, because that's the only hard CC they have to keep him out from the pit. But a bit unfortunate. Karsa does find his way in, does find the smite, but we already have action happening on the map.
We do. We were going to see how Top Esports separated members of Suning, but we come back and 369 already targeted Bin. I didn't want to go too much farther forward, but what happens
Hysterics.
now? Tell me.
Huanfeng must have just used his flash from whatever play we just missed. It is now, on cooldown, and
smart boy.
This could be a window where maybe TS can find a way on top of him. I feel like it will still be hard. We've seen Huanfeng has been playing very respectfully, as we do see the replay in the bottom right of our screen. And I mean, he just runs him down. He still runs into the chompers, but it doesn't matter. He took cleanse, forces the flash out immediately.
Yeah, I apologize for the mistake there. Thought it was Bin, but it was actually Huanfeng. So almost gets caught out, but 369, he just used the cleanse. Now could be in a bit of trouble. Blind doesn't matter when a horse runs you down. Suning again. Big shutdown, and there you go. The Quinn doesn't have Baron in the side lane anymore.
And that's the thing, right? They use their global tools available to them, Abyssal Voyage from On, as well as SOFM just being able to traverse the map so quickly. They should be able to go and stop Top Esports from taking this dragon. And I mean, from there, right, assuming you're just waiting it out. Oh, wait. Top Esports might have time to burn this one.
Maybe they do. Jackie Love doesn't have the right guns, though, right? It's only Gravitum, Calibrum there.
Probably the worst guns for it.
True. Gonna poke them down at the very least. Karsa on the back of the pit. Junglers are the same level now, which you don't normally talk about, right? Karsa was down 2 levels, and means Smite is going to be the exact same. Jackie Love poking them yet again, but hit by Huanfeng. Knight for the re-engage. Disengage, rather. Karsa on the back. Still hasn't been spotted out. Wants to steal while Top Esports deal with Bin. He walks in and just takes it. This bear cannot be stopped. Suning will kill him, but there's another objective under the wing.
I mean, Karsa in clutch moments, it can't be understated. I want people to remember back to their series against Fnatic at Worlds, and even their one win up against Suning at Worlds. It definitely felt like Karsa was the clutch member of TS who's able to step up in high-pressure situations, which is funny because it's much different from his, first initial start in LPL, where he was known as the opposite.
Yeah.
Great job coming from Karsa, just super cheeky, super sly with the steal.
Watch it again, because there was no ward here. And Karsa just goes, yep, that's fine.
I mean, right, and it could have easily been counteracted had
True.
Suning done their due diligence and put, a ward in there in the first place when they were first walking into the pit. But they didn't. Karsa was able to punish it. We have more items coming out on both sides, but we can highlight that Rabadon's Death Cap coming out for Knight finally being done. Again, it's going to provide huge bursts, and when we highlighted that one of the ways TS can find, maybe a way into a team fight is just one burst, being able to take out someone like Angel, it's definitely going to be a good pickup.
So, we come back to Summoner's Rift with the Dragon taken away, with Baron now expired. We have another timer in the top right of our screen, ladies and gentlemen. Put your eyes up there and see 1 minute 30. That's when the next Baron's coming up. And Suning before were the ones starting it. After getting a pick on Jackie Love, he had no summoners at the time, and yet again after the last play lyric, his summoners have been burnt again.
And it's going to be tough, right? Because we've seen time and time again that Top Esports composition really can't get pressure through sides. If 369 goes too far forward, Suning just have too many tools to get to the side lane too quickly. Yep. They are going to be able to answer and get a mid lane turret, but, 369 picked up a bit of farm, so not exactly worth, but not the end of the world.
No, you're not too worried about him. The Quinn has been impactful in certain scenarios, but apart from that, hasn't had the desired effect here for Top Esports.
They are still 5k gold up, to be fair.
They are. But remember, you told me very heavily we get towards the later parts of this game, and Suning with the tools with Huanfeng and his setup of his team in front of him is going to be in a better position.
That's the thing. If you remember watching Home Improvement as a child, as many of us did, Suning's comp is Tim the Toolman Taylor. They just have answers to everything that Top Esports throw at them. That
actor who was also in Christmas with the Cranks. I remember. That was a horrible movie. As Jackie Love, good little dark passage from Chua, has been chased forward with a stride breaker. That's the pressure from Suning here in this game. And Baron spawning up in 5 seconds. SOFM on a bit of a mission here. Look at the horse. He's just popped Ghost. Where's he going? Lyric, where's SOFM going? He's going into the... I don't know what animal draw is. Is he Disengages, goes back in onto 12, hits him pretty hard. But Top Esports have kind of scattered SUNING once again. That does a bit of damage. Onefong stepping up once more onto Castle. Super Mega Death Rocket is available. He launches it and misses. At 369 onto SOFM once more. Some low health bars on SUNING. Maybe this means Top Esports get a breath of fresh air.
That's the thing is, I think that was a bit of an overforce coming out from SUNING, trying to find and engage right next to the inhibitor turret from TS. They did get a flash from Knight. Knight still doing a ton of damage as TS might have found the engage.
Good block there from On. Angel would have been bursted down. And Knight's starting to show us this Zoe always has potential for catch.
There is something I want to highlight, though, that
Please.
Wanfeng is still a whole item above Jacula.
True.
So this Jinx is absolutely massive. The thing is, we haven't really seen him in positions where he's been able to deal damage. Top Esports have done a good job of just punishing any picks or engages SUNING have been looking for, kiting them back. We saw the death sentence catching out SLFM, so he couldn't just run in. We saw Knight chunking Bin in that last exchange. So a very defensive play coming out from TES, stopping SUNING in their tracks.
As I also want to point out that for Wanfeng, he's got the 400 CS hack going as well. About 40 CS over his counterpart. As we saw there, SOFM was just lying in wait. SUNING trying to push up yet again. Bait Top Esports in. 369 on the opposite angle. Level 18 Quinn with 330 CS to his name. He's got a Flame Horizon, but will it make a difference?
That's the thing, right? He's looking for the flank. You can see it now. He's kind of trying to make his way around River, but SUNING are still looking for the engage. I think for the side of SUNING as well, you want to try and get some red wards in one side of the jungle, maybe peel off onto the objective. Dragon's going to be up in about 15 seconds. Force them in and have SOFM come off on his own flank angle, right? Try and find his way onto Jackie Love, whose flash is either up now or about to be up.
And Lyric, you know what? This is perfect time for my first date analogy again, right? Who's paying the bill? We don't know yet. Maybe it's SOFM as he runs straight into Caster. Stormbringer out. That doesn't get him too far. As Super Mega Death Rocket has to be flashed away. Knight goes in. Good Everfrost, but Draw and Jackie Love now to awkward angle themselves. Slowed down with the zap. And SUNING have the inner track mid, but no minion wave.
That's the thing is, SUNING keep trying to just catch Top Esports out in transition, or again, just like before where they were overforcing, where it feels like they can just go onto one of these objectives. They are going to do that now. They're giving up Baron for Dragon. But actually, SOFM has something to say about this. He does have his ultimate and Smite available.
Good box. Death Sentence lands. So there goes Baron. Top Esports take it in an instant draw. Flashes away as Knight is the one isolated. He'll cleanse. He'll take the Blast Cone and manage to find an escape route as SOFM gets maximum fear range, but he gets bursted down quite a bit. Jackie Love sending out the Calibrum with heal, with Dark Passage. 369 into a bird. And maybe it is the word as Knight misses with the bubble and Draw's just caught out. Jackie Love as well. Spun to one as Top Esports. This is not their fight anymore. Caster's in the middle of it all, and this bear is getting hunted for dinner.
And Top Esports were on the wrong side of the map. They go for the Baron. SUNING around the Dragon, they just wrap around from behind them. We even saw Karsa was split up from the rest of his team. Death timers right now about 30 seconds long. I don't think SUNING can end this, but at least can get a bit more gold in their pockets.
It feels like the game, though, is just shown us what it wanted to show us from the start, that SUNING are still in control with this late game, with this Jinx. And it's going to be very hard for Top Esports from now. Base broken. Inhibitor at the very least you mentioned. Those death timers, are they going to be long enough? Wanfeng going forward on tonight. That's a lot of damage. But the wave now pushing in. SUNING are going to back off.
Yeah, we're just going to see some resets come out from them. It's going to be another posturing for, another 3 minutes until that next Dragon's up. Maybe knowing how SUNING have played this past few minutes, right? They're going to push out their lanes, try and get some deep vision in the enemy jungle, potentially try to force like they've been doing. But this is just a result of, again, TS did the Baron. SUNING wrapped around from behind. I'm actually not quite sure how Karsa ended up where he is now, but you're split on two sides. SUNING just continuously running forward. Really nice DPS coming out from Wanfeng, just running in. Bin as well, providing space. And the Zillion ultimate just being so clutch, making sure On doesn't go down as well. And this fight was just very cut and dry, right? SUNING having a much better position, having what pretty much was numbers advantage, being able to take advantage of an out-of-place TES.
And that's Jinx. 38 minutes into the game. We've hit late game for sure. I mean, Wanfeng, I can't see the items right now, but there you go. Full items here, 445 CS, and doing exactly what he should do. So Suning in a very good position here, Lyric, despite being down in gold. Top inhibitor is down. Suning are grouping up towards this mid lane, and the bottom wave is pushing in as well.
That's the thing, is we highlighted before, he was an item of Jaculov. Now he's 2 as almost finds it.
Very, very close. Jaculov survives. Draw not going to help too much in that regard. Has the Infernum, so the wave not a problem, but Suning themselves, I mean, they've got themselves a dragon coming up in 2 minutes. They've got the game and I guess everything else that they want building up here.
And Suning's run just looks like it's going to continue, proving some predictions wrong, potentially like me and you, who went 3-0 for the side of TS. I think they've been the much smarter team. Like, sure, they were behind at numerous points, a lot off of Karsa's clutch steals and early laning phases, but Suning have just done a much better job of, like, preventing what top esports wanted to do. They've done a much better job controlling vision and even finding picks on the map.
Is this going to be one of them? On to Angel eaten up. On in that last fight was crucial with One Fong. There was some great little devours, great little gobbles. I'm not sure if that's, you know, approved, but ladies and gentlemen, Suning still waiting for this next dragon. Waiting for something to happen here as SOFM's going in once again. The junglers meet head to head as there you go, Super Mega Death Rocket does enough damage to be concerned. And top esports already shown dominance. This game's going to drag out a little bit longer. And look, Lyric, I'll be honest, you know, in the first 15, 20 minutes when I saw top esports even in gold, I thought this one was done for Suning either way. Top esports came back, got some good steals, but it does feel like we're just back to that point, waiting this out until Suning get the team fight with One Fong enabled. And
it's really interesting to think too, because Suning did this with pretty much one person down, right? Because Bin didn't get a chance to play the game. He did a fine job staying as close to relevant in the matchup as he could. But you can look now, even only 3 assists, not really being involved in too much of the action. His role at this point in time is just a meat shield, but the other 4 members of Suning have done such a great job of capitalizing to make sure that that didn't matter, as SOFM's still trying to go in.
Yeah, Karsa might be caught out here yet again. Has to use Stormbringer defensively. Knight comes over with the burst onto SOFM. There's the Infernum with the Moonlight Vigil. Top esports have a window as SOFM comes back alive. He'll be hit with the Trouble Bubble, but Knight wants to follow it up yet again. Paddle Star connects, but top esports low health bars in the face of an objective spawning. 369 moves out, and Lyric, somehow they're keeping this game lingering on.
That's the thing, right? We didn't actually get to see how Jaculov got such an easy time hitting the ultimate, but gets it down. Knight was also layering a lot of good damage. We saw the last Paddle Star as well, forces Suning out from this dragon. And they're even getting free gold, right? Because they lost top inhibitor. It's not meaning too much. It's just free gold for more items for the side of TS.
I want to point out there's something I've committed a grave sin on this broadcast. It's very rare that we get to this point in the LPL, and very rare that we see a top laner named 369 actually get to 369 CS, and I missed it. I've absolutely missed the window, so I feel like I've let the audience down. I apologize. I hope they caught that one, but 388 now in the top laner. Flame Horizon well and truly achieved. We are at the point where gold is getting less and less meaningful with our final items rounding out. That, of course, however, doesn't apply to Jaculov, who's still sitting on the stopwatch. He did, I believe, have a GA before I might have sold it. At 428 CS, it feels like that should be the case, but then again, he has no kills, so we'll wait and see what develops there with the GA getting picked up next for sure. As One Fong heading forward, Knight, wow, that was a Q.
Yeah, he can just play this aggressively with the tools around him. Again, look, Angel and Honor always by his side, making sure that nothing can go wrong. 369 is looking for the flank, though.
He is, but One Fong sped up. Look, onto Jaculov. He'll keep heading forward. Remember, the Chrono Shift is there for One Fong. As SOFM spots a flank out from Karsa. Horse is still very fast, of course. As top esports playing through this jungle top to isolate a member of Suning. Suning break another inhibitor, but look, or rather inhibitor turret, but they're not going any deeper into the base.
And the thing is, TS have just done such a good job at punishing Suning at the key moments. Bin, though, might be getting punished himself.
Yeah, like now, one hit from 369, that's a member down. Suning have been crushed. Angel goes down as well. How is this happening? Suning should have the scaling advantage, but the trap is laid bare by top esports, and a quadra for 369 on this bird that is definitely the word.
And we've just seen it time and time again where Suning are trying to force their way into TS's composition. SOFM is actually doing it once again.
He's Mad Max, but you know what? I feel like Mad Max didn't die at the end of that movie. 369 will head towards base Lyric. Look at the death timers, man. They're running straight towards that Nexus.
I mean, this is over hysterics. TS found the pick. Bin jumped in when he really had no business to do so. TS found the punish, and they're going to pick up game 1.
This is a 43-minute game where Top Esports were thought to be outscaled. You have a Jinx with a Zillion and Tarm, and SUNING have dropped it. Top Esports say, don't worry, we can catch the ball.
And not just a Jinx with a Zillion Tom, right? You had a Jinx that was 2 items above the enemy 80 carry.
Yes.
We saw how much each of his rockets were doing. It was absolutely insane. But there were just so many times where, like, okay, SUNING, I remember there was one period where both Baron and Dragon are up, and it's like, that's when we're trying to force mid for some reason. It's like, hey, go to the objective first, try to force them out, get your deep vision down, and then look for your engages. But too many times, they just tried running head first into TS's team comp. Sometimes it worked out and it was okay because it's like, hey, at least we forced summoners out from Jackie Love.
Yeah.
But other times, like in the very end, you just had no business being there. And top, like, sure, we say scaling advantage, blah, blah, blah. You still have an Aphelios and Zoe on the enemy team who both have 4 and 5 items respectively in a 40-minute game.
Sure.
So SUNING definitely not respecting in the very end.
True, there's always potential to come back and, find an opening. So, wow. I mean, the fact that it ended with, a 3-6, a Quinn at 44 minutes in the game. Oh, let's be realistic, 41 minutes in the game. Finding that angle, still laying out so much damage, kind of just shows you that the items that we have in League of Legends right now can influence quite a bit, right? Kraken Slayer onto Bin, who did no damage, but then again, was versing a Quinn in lane.
I also want to highlight, this was our longest game of playoffs so far. Before this, our longest game was 38 minutes, obviously getting to the 43-minute mark. SUNING now being involved in both the quickest game in playoffs, where they crushed LNG in 17 minutes, and now the longest game losing to TS. Gonna be interesting to see what developments we get going into game 2, right? Because, no matter where you stand on these drafts or scaling, it definitely felt like there were points where SUNING were in firm control of this game. Karsa was able to steal not only Baron, but also a Dragon. Just a lot of execution errors coming out from the side of SUNING.
Yeah, and sad, right?